Yeah, welcome everybody back to the X Factor Sports Talk. I'm your host, Fred Weisner, as always, joined by my two studs of a co-hosts. We got Troy Coomer, we got Kayla Wilson. We're not stars, we're not superstars. We are X Factors. We are changing the game, boys. What is good?
How you doing? How you doing, Caleb?
Another day.
Another day, another dollar.
You,
More snow here in Kentucky.
you kidding me?
Another podcast. We're talking about being cold, snow. I got my slippers on, got my hoodie on. I know
Hey, the
Fred's
weather
got
might
a
be
blankie.
cold. Hey, my weather might be cold, but the takes are hot. You kidding me?
You dig.
Yeah, dig.
So we got a loaded
It's so cold. I'm wearing pants.
and if you know this podcast, Caleb never wears pants.
Never wear pants ever.
But we got a loaded NBA themed podcast coming to you today with 3 segments here. And this is episode 12. Whenever I wrote that down, I was like, holy cow, we are rolling. This is 3 months now that we have been doing this every week. We stayed consistent for 12 straight weeks. It's crazy to think about how far we've come already. We're having a good time. I love every single minute we have. So let's just dive right in, and we're going to use a segment that we used last week. We debuted it last week, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's called the Panic or Not game. And I have come up with 3 teams and addressed and showed the guys what teams so they could kind of have their answer prepared. So for the first team we're going to talk about here, it's kind of a hot topic for me. I've talked about them before. I've thrown them out there a lot. I just punched my mic.
Dude's going through a 15-round bout with his mic today.
Boom. But I've actually talked about this team a lot with you guys, just really concerned about them. So I'm really interested to see where you guys go with this. But the first team, panic or not, the Milwaukee Bucks, and Caleb will go to you first.
For the team, I'm not panicking. Drew Holiday's been out. Yeah, they've lost their last 1, 2, 3. They've lost their last 4. But it's like, when you're missing a key piece like Drew Holiday, I'm not willing to like freak out just yet.
Yep.
Now, do they have concerns that we've addressed? Yes. And I think, they need to figure that out if they're going to take a next step. So no, I'm not panicking if I am like the organization, but I'll tell you, if I'm Mike Budenholzer, I am panicking. His job is at stake this year.
Oh, yeah.
If they do not make it to the finals, he's gone. I really do believe that. So
Conference finals. I would say conference finals.
I agree with that.
Just because they've been kind of stagnant all along, not being.
But yeah, I think when you bring in a key piece like Drew Holiday, like you're gonna have to figure it out. And I've heard a lot of people actually talk about how like he's not even really like given, like you've not even seen the best of him yet because he's still trying to find his place in this offense. And when you're trying to incorporate that, but then he's out for several games, you're gonna take a hit. And they've lost to some good teams, like they've lost to the Suns and the Jazz, and the Raptors, who are okay.
They're like so mediocre, it's stupid.
Yeah. So it's like, I think the Raptors are a team where it's like you could win one night, any given night, but also lose any given night. But anyways, I'm not panicking just yet. But if it keeps going, yeah, maybe.
All right, Caleb or Fred, where are you going?
I'm not panicking either, man. I think they're way too talented to panic. I think between the back-to-back MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo, all-star and Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, when he comes back, Dante DiVincenzo's looked good this year. I just think they're too talented of a roster to panic, especially with how weak the East is and how mediocre they are. Because they're so jam-packed. They have 5 teams over 500 in the East right now. There's no need to panic. I think they'll be either a 1 through 3 seed coming into the playoffs, and I mean they have a legitimate shot to make the conference finals. And I don't think the record really shows how good they are right now. Caleb alluded to Drew Holiday being out. I mean, not even just from a talented standpoint, he's a leader out there. So
yeah,
I think once he comes back, we'll see really what Milwaukee take off, and I could see them winning, I don't know, 20 of the next 25 games when he comes back. Something like that. So, no, I'm not panicking.
For the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm actually kind of going to stray away from both of you. I think that the only way that they get better for this season is by making a move. And I think that we've kind of alluded to that, where we're trying to figure out where they can make a move. Now, a move to get better is normally going to take some draft picks.
Yeah.
And they have put themselves in a jail cell of draft picks since they literally gave everything and more to the Pelicans for Drew Holiday, who you guys have talked about. He's struggling to stay healthy right now. And I love Drew. And, anytime you're the new addition into a team that has two perennial all-stars and Giannis and Chris, it takes some time, especially with Brook Lopez, who likes scoring the ball. And then you got DJ Augustine, who likes scoring the ball. And then there's rotations that Budenholzer has to figure out to utilize them. And Budenholzer, I have my thoughts on him. I'm not sure he's a great coach. He's good in the regular season, of course, but when it comes down to making adjustments, and that can hurt Drew Holiday, because the way you have to use them is with rotational minutes, and you have to give Drew those minutes as the guy. And, that's on the coach to figure that out. And I don't trust Budenholzer. And again, as you said, they're on a 4-game losing streak, and their best player, Giannis, is not their go-to guy in the closing fourth quarter. While he may lead the league, I checked this, he leads the league in fourth quarter scoring. But it's 8 points a game. So, it's not going to blow you away. 8 points a game. And, a lot of that is on just putbacks. He's not the guy with 30 seconds left, which we're kind of going to talk about this a little bit later. He's not the guy with 30 seconds left that has the ball in his hands. He's not the guy with aspirations of taking the last shot. Devin Booker, I think it was about last week or within the last week, Devin Booker said, a reporter asked him, how did you feel when Giannis was pulling a mid-range for the win? He said, I felt really good. Because that's what they want. That's who they want with the ball, with the game on the line. Every opposing team that plays the Bucks, and your best player can't be that. And that's where my reasoning for panic is that they're in a weird spot in terms of making a move, and I don't trust Giannis and the guys they got. And I was really high on the Bucks coming in. Our preseason one, Fred, I had them ranked number 1 in the East. I thought they were going to have a fantastic season. I love Drew Holiday. But Giannis has just been so underwhelming for me. While he's having a good statistical season, it's just been so underwhelming for me, and that's where I kind of stand.
Yeah, I feel like there's nothing else really to say. We've addressed, I think, even last week or 2 weeks ago, like the Bucks issues. They need to revitalize that offense. Giannis, they need to switch things up with him.
Yeah,
I think it's hard to run offense through him. I don't think.
The way they're doing it, yes, the way they're doing it, it's hard to. And they need.
I don't even think Budenholzer's the issue. I just think it's Giannis as a whole. What kind of system do you put in place for him?
You put him in the post. When you put him in the post, like when he's around the basket, there is no answer for him. And
but is that going to win you a championship?
If you surround him with the right guys, I don't see why it wouldn't. Honestly,
if Giannis is as good as everybody wants him or says he is, it can win you a championship if you go.
And Giannis is that good. We can't sit here and act like that man's not a back-to-back MVP, all-star, just superstar level.
He's a good player. I don't think
he's not good. He's elite. He's a superstar.
I think elite is tossed around. I think there are very few in the league you can call.
What do you need him to do?
In playoff games.
He's like top tier superstar, but not there at elite yet.
He's not on Kevin Durant, LeBron's level. That's elite.
Yeah.
He can't be named the same thing as you name LeBron and Kevin Durant.
I don't call Kevin Durant and LeBron elite. They're the best 2 players in the world.
That's elite.
That's elite.
Not mine.
Elite is in the dictionary.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying though, Fred.
We shouldn't even put the other guys in the category. Actually, it's LeBron in his own category, KD in his own category, and then the rest of the whoever else you want to throw in there.
I would probably put Jokic in his own. He's way better than Giannis. There's a few guys, but that gets into a whole.
I just think it's crazy to not act like Giannis isn't a superstar.
No, we're agreeing with you. He's a superstar. He's just not like that.
He's not that dude.
Yeah,
he's not that dude. I'm not gonna go to the bank and be like, I'm betting all my money that Giannis can get me somewhere, because he can't, and that's just bottom line. But switching gears, the second team for the Panic or Not is the Miami Heat. They are 11-16. They're 10th in the Eastern Conference. But as Fred kind of touched on for the last question, there's only 5 teams over 500. So realistically, all it takes is a 5-game winning streak, and you're probably right back where you need to be.
Right.
They were playing against the Golden State Warriors tonight, and they were leading whenever I stopped watching. And the Miami Heat So, Fred, I'll let you answer this. You've kind of been hot on the Miami Heat since the beginning of the year. So I am intrigued to see what you say here.
Panic. They should have panicked at the beginning of the season. They didn't get better. And I knew they didn't get better, and I knew they'd be in this position. What happened last year was great. They had made it to the bubble finals, and they were great. But you look at this roster, I'm literally looking at it right now. This team's not going to go back to the championship. Not compared to the other teams in the East. They're not going to be able to compete with the Sixers or the Celtics or the Nets. This team on paper needs to make a move, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, panic. Tyler Hero can't be your second best scorer. I'm sorry. Or third behind Bam and Jimmy. They don't have who. I don't even want to talk about the Heat. They're so annoying, bro. Like you want or you go to the championship and you do nothing to get better in the offseason. They don't have a guy averaging over 20 points.
Yeah. Statistically, they are rough.
They look dysfunctional in every aspect of the game. Offense, defense, it doesn't matter. And you have one of the best coaches in the NBA.
Their defense isn't bad.
11-16 says otherwise.
I mean, you can't pin that all on defense.
Yeah.
And Caleb, let's go right to you.
I mean, you have two really good defensive players in Bam and Jimmy on the floor.
Jimmy's missed a significant amount of games.
15. Or he's played 15. Bam's played 25.
I mean, they've played, 27? So
28. He's missed about as much as he's played.
Yeah, Jimmy's missing almost half your games. I'm okay. I don't know if I'm panicking because I've gone on record and said this already. Like the Heat, they're gonna find a way to get to the playoffs. They're gonna find a way. Now, I guess it just comes down to what you define as panicking. Like, am I panicking that they have a run for the championship? Yes. Am I panicking they make it to the playoffs? No. I think they have some pieces to make a move to bring in a guy that I'll discuss later. I can't wait to. That they can bring in to help them make, where they need it and what they've lost. And so I'm not panicking just yet. Let's see how they do now that Jimmy's back and hopefully in full. I mean, Jimmy's averaging 19 a game. I mean, with how many games he's missed, and he took a hit with COVID. So it's like, for him to be like averaging 19.9, basically 20 points, like, that's a good sign. And you can hope that they'll pick it up and turn it around. You'll continue to get chemistry with these new guys and everything. So not panicking just yet.
I think they need an elite ball handler, man. They need a point guard.
Yeah, they run a lot of their sets through Bam. They let Dragic and Nunn kind of bring the ball up and be off-ball pieces. Hero runs a lot of one for them.
I still don't get that.
They kind of gang run it. It's very interesting to watch. And I'm also not panicking. I'm not panicking at all. They've been ravished with injuries, COVID issues. They were one of the teams early on, them and the Wizards, that we were just like, holy cow, can they catch a break? And, Jimmy Butler is starting to look extremely healthy. And whenever Jimmy Butler is healthy, that team just seems to go. There's not really much else I can say. Last season, I was on them to make the Eastern Conference Finals, but I tell you what, I would not have guessed them to go to the finals, and somehow they did it. That's the Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat way. And Jimmy Butler, like I said, just starting to get healthy. Last 12 games Butler has played, they're 7-5. They have a net rating of 4.6. He has a net rating of 4.6. And they also have Eric Spoelstra, one of the best coaches in the league. Not to mention, out of the last this is their 7th game tonight against the Warriors. If they win tonight, which they're winning by almost double digits, they will be 5-2 in their last 7. That's a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And that's something to build on because their next games, Kings, Lakers are injured. I could expect them to win that one. Thunder, Raptors. That's the next 4. That's 4 very winnable games for the Miami Heat where they could go on a run and go 9-2. And the next thing you know, exactly what we say, they're back to 500. And then everybody stops worrying about them. And I think they need to make one low-key move. Like you said, can't wait to talk about it later. But yeah, I am nowhere near the panic button. I love this Miami Heat team. I think that Jay Crowder loss was huge. But I think they'll figure it out. For sure. They'll figure it out.
That
So
Jake,
Fred
I'm
is on the
I'm gonna speak on that Jay Crowder thing in a little bit, but that Jay Crowder,
Very tough. Tough player.
underrated. What he like, not maybe necessarily in skill, but like what he brings to a franchise is underrated.
Grit, 3-point shooting, defense, just a guy that'll give it all on the line. I feel
Doesn't care if how many shots he gets. Like he's
he'll
gonna
go out there, dude, and just scrap. He'll just scrap, and that's why I love him with Chris Paul. It worked with Jimmy, and so that's why it continues to work. So again, Fred is panicking on the Miami Heat. He's been saying it since early on. If you watch from the jump, he's been. What? Are you good?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stat right now from the
Oh,
next thing
okay.
we're talking
You
about.
looked really confused.
I was like, oh God, what's wrong with
I
Fred?
know. I was like, is he good? But yeah, so Fred's on the panic button. He has been since early on. If you watch it every week, the last few times we talked about Miami, he's been hot on this.
They got worse. I don't know.
They haven't gotten better, and me and Caleb not so much. They're just a winning streak away, just like the Bucks are. They're just a winning streak away.
Yep.
And now this next team, I'm actually very intrigued to talk about. I did not think we'd be here, if I'm being completely honest. I in my mind, I had no idea that we would look and that the Boston Celtics would find themselves in the face of 500. They're 14-13, somehow still fourth in the East. That's just the way the East works.
Yeah.
But they are still fourth in the East, 14-13. Fred, this is your beloved team. Jaylen Brown, your man, your myth, your legend. Jaylen Brown, can he somehow get this team on the right trail? Are you panicking or are you not?
Yeah, I'm panicking. Bro, their bench
Yes,
is awful.
you said yes.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Dude, their bench is awful. Who on their bench is performing? Who on their bench is performing? Go look at their stats.
Also, they gave up 40 points to Trae Young, 24 to Clint Capella, and 20 to John Collins tonight.
Dude, they don't run their offense through Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. I don't understand what Jaylen Brown has been their best player this year. I think you all might agree with that. And he has to create his offense off his steals and his hustle plays.
Yeah.
Go look at their bench scoring, bro. Their bench scoring is
Again,
horrific.
I alluded to this in our trade video. The worst signing for the Boston Celtics this offseason has been Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague has looked god awful.
Who on their benches look
Weren't
good?
you high on that at one point though?
Oh,
Troy?
dude, I was obsessed with that move. I thought it was.
I was not, because I was like, dude, he hasn't been relevant in like 5 years.
But
Dude,
I thought he was a low key. Like he'll get you
Yeah.
some minutes, but
No, he was
Dude,
horrible tonight.
They
he
have
played 9 minutes tonight. Not
They
even in
haven't-
the rotation anymore.
Listen, they have nobody on their bench that they can count on to score.
No,
Peyton
Pritchard at most.
Peyton Pritchard, yeah.
But even
But-
then,
He's
He
averaging
comes
8.
in, he creates offense. I don't know if necessarily also like you can rely on him for scoring.
But dude, I mean, they just have a bunch of young guys who are not proven. They have Taco Fall.
It's like, yeah, they're like 6th, 7th, and 8th man are like guys you want as like your 9th and 10th man.
it's
You know what I
because
mean?
the Danny Ainge way. He has had draft picks for 4 straight seasons and has refused to trade them and just continues to pick late in the lottery, late in first rounds, and get these mediocre guys that aren't going to change your franchise. Robert Williams, I mean, was a solid pick. Peyton Pritchard, another solid pick. But these guys ain't taking you over the hump. Like, what are we doing? You could have packaged 4 or 5 of these and gotten like a mega star. You've had the cap space every offseason. Like, what is wrong with their ownership crew? Why don't they make a move? Caleb, I'll let you speak here.
Oh, hold on. Can I say one more thing, Caleb?
Yeah,
Get out of here, man. I'm
They need a bench scorer. They need a Jordan Clarkson-esque guy. They're not getting him, but
Terrence
they need
Ross.
somebody like that. They
Terrence
need,
Ross, I've been screaming his name for weeks now.
and they need to get Kemba out of town and find themselves a pass first point guard so they can get their 2 best players involved often. If you watch a Denver Nugget game, that offense runs right through their best player.
Every time. The Nuggets are beautiful basketball because they know who they are. Mike Malone is one of the top coaches in the NBA. He knows who they are. You just have
Maybe
to, as a
we
coach,
should have had the Nuggets in this question there.
I
know.
don't agree with Michael Malone being one of the best coaches in the league, but I mean, I don't know how the Celtics.
did you
don't come
watch
down-
the playoffs?
Hold on, listen. I don't know how the Celtics don't come down and give the ball to Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum every time. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay. I will also say I am panicking. Their offense is weird. It's a lot of 1-2 passes and then stand around and somebody take a weird isolation shot. I watched it tonight and it's like Tatum was playing very like if Brown or Tatum are not hitting their shots, their offense is dead. And it's just kind of like there's times where there's a lot of movement and a lot of great passing, but then there's other times where it's just a dud. And so they need to figure something out with their offense quick, because if not, they're going to lose in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And like I was high on them when Jaylen Brown was playing really well. I was like, yeah, this is great. This is going to work out. But it's like he started to slow down, and Tatum's not picked it up what I was expecting. So it's just kind of like there's so many questions with their offense that I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they need to make a move. I think Danny Ainge is going to make a move, but I really do. I think this year he will.
You remember how this offseason there were talks that the Pacers were interested in Gordon Hayward?
He was stupid for that.
for
I agree with you
Miles
100%. Yeah, they regret that 100%.
but he turned it down to get a trade exception from the Hornets.
Yeah.
You remember that? This is the pride and joy for years.
It worked out for Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, great for Gordon Hayward. Happy for him. But the Pacers would be much better today with Gordon Hayward. But anyway, Danny Ainge is one of those guys that for years, same with Brad Stevens, everybody has been on him like, man, this guy's one of the greats. This guy's one of the best. Keep your eye on Danny Ainge as a team builder. Keep your eye on Brad Stevens as one of the best coaches in the game. But every year,
that's
in every moment
about Brad Stevens, like their game against the Nuggets, I only think they won because like Jokic was the only one on, and like nobody else really stepped up to perform for the Nuggets. And I turned on the game tonight, and like right before the game, he was talking about how like they brought back some stuff in their offense that they haven't brought in years because they just never thought it was like fit them, but they brought it back against the Nuggets, and they were bringing it back tonight. It's like I didn't see a difference. Like what was there?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Please tell me, Brad, what you came up with
Yeah.
from your 4-year-old playbook that is somehow supposed to magically work with the group that you have now.
I don't think he knows how to coach Kemba.
Kemba needs to be out of town. Marcus Smart needs to be out of town. I love Marcus Smart. I love Marcus Smart. This offense needs to center around Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
I think Marcus Smart could become like a Jay Crowder type role. Like you just need him. You need him to buy in and not take as many shots. And I think if you tell him
he won't buy in.
I know. I think he would. No, I think if they have a legitimate shot at the finals, if they make a move,
have the last 2 out of the last 3 years they've been in the Eastern Conference Finals. Is that not a legit chance at the finals?
Okay, yeah, you're right. But I'm just saying, I think if you sit him down and say, look, Kemba's gone, like if they make this move and Kemba's gone and our offense is going to run through these two guys, we need you to defend and hit an open three. I think he's one of those guys, he's going to keep it real. And if you tell him straight up, I think he'd accept it just fine.
He's got to know he's not a superstar, right? Like there's no way.
This is also the kid in college punched a fan. Like we understand.
Okay, I mean that's college.
I'm just saying Marcus Smart just has that intensity about him where he is so passionate about what he does. Wow, dude, again, I love Marcus Smart. I think he's unbelievable. I think what he does for a winning basketball team is great. But again, it is this guy on offense needs the ball to be good. Bottom line. He's not a spot-up shooter. Please tell me why you guys think he can be a Jay Crowder of a spot-up shooter.
I've seen him spot up and hit several threes in a game. Like, I don't think he would be as successful, but I think, like, you need a guy like that. You need a dog like that. And it's like, okay, if he's like a 40
the dude in the same draft class, Julius Randle, what's he doing this year?
Okay, but you act like Jay Crowder was the player he was younger in his career. He had to develop into what he is now. He learned his role.
Marcus Smart probably averages more points in his in this season than Jay Crowder has for his career.
That's fine. What has Jay Crowder done? And look what Jay Crowder's done compared to him. To a team.
Other than making the finals, I mean, Marcus Smart shoots 39% from the field. His 3-point percentage, 30%.
I'm not talking about stats. I'm talking about what he does for a team emotionally. And
That's a lot of missed
lifts
shots for me. And literally the only thing that I wrote down for the
But
Celtics-
okay, I'm not disagreeing with you, but it's like that comes back to if you sit him down and say, "Listen, buy into this 3-and-D role," I think he would do it. I have faith that he could.
I would hope that he would, because
Yeah.
for 3 straight seasons, I have been so high on the Celtics because they have this young guys that are ready to boom. Jaylen Brown's even showing it. He's booming. Jason Tatum, while he has his struggles, he had 36, 6, and 6 tonight. He can boom.
yeah, but the
you
last
got-
3 seasons they haven't been the favorite to come out of the East.
Against the Heat, they were last year.
I'm saying going into the playoffs.
They're my favorite every year, except for the
They
year
could
they
be
played
your
the
favorite,
Cavs.
but I'm not saying it's the NBA's favorite. I mean, it was been the Bucks.
I mean, neither were the Heat. You know, like, I mean, if you're going by, and neither were the Lakers because the Clippers were. So, like, if you start really looking into that favorite
Look at
crap,
LeBron, dude. What?
you must have not been listening to all national media. But literally, the only thing I have written down for the Celtics is make a move, panic. Make a move and panic. It's
I think get Kemba out, yes, but Marcus Smart, that's
it
a
would be
guy. Like,
so hard to move Kemba.
yeah,
don't
I
think we
agree. But if they
understand that.
whatever they do it. I don't care.
3
but
more years left on his deal.
I don't move Marcus Smart.
30 plus million. I think that Marcus Smart's the only piece that you have outside of maybe Peyton Pritchard that is a half least enticing to take Kemba. Who else would they offer?
Okay, I mean,
If
I
I'm
guess
them,
at that
I'm moving
point,
him.
okay, I see what you're saying now. At that point, I guess it just depends on who you're getting. Like,
I'd
if
move
I'm
Peyton
getting
Pritchard.
if I'm getting a guy that's like, okay, yeah, then sure, I would consider it. But
Yeah.
like you just kind of said, get rid of Kimba, get rid of Marcus Smart, and I was like, whoa, like don't
My
just
last
get rid
trade
of Marcus.
video, I did that, and they got cat. So
They
That's
need to
never
move
gonna
Peyton
happen.
Pritchard. They need to look at themselves and be like, okay, what's Peyton Pritchard going to do from the organization in the next 5 years? Be a rotational bench guy.
No, Pritchard will be a good bench player for the.
I love
For-
Peyton
for
Pritchard.
another
I think he's a
team.
dog.
I think that he should.
I think he can
was
buy
smart.
into more of a 3-and-D role than Marcus Smart would.
He can't
Yeah,
defend
but I
him.
don't know how good of a defense. Like,
I mean, he's little. Don't get me wrong. He's got
Yeah.
Pitbull in him.
yeah,
Who?
Don't get me started about Peyton Pritchard. I love that kid.
Marcus
I'll start
Smart's
barking.
I know. I did. But so I'm panicking. Are we all panicking?
yes.
All right,
14
we're all panicking. I'm at a different level of panic. I'm saying get rid of, Smart, Kemba, and really center this offense around Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. There's no reason not to. You could get a pretty good package out of there for Kemba and Smart, and maybe like Ojale and a couple picks. But
I would trade Robert Williams.
me too.
I mean, in our trade video, I literally in every trade for the Celtics, he was out of there for me.
good. Yeah, get rid of him. Bring in a more experienced guy. There's no reason to have all these young guys whenever you're trying to make a championship every year. There's zero reason. Like, you have to bring in the right veterans. Tristan Thompson, decent veteran.
I
Jeff
like
Teague
Thompson. for
not
them.
has the experience you
good.
want. But I mean, yeah, that's just my hot box. I'll step off it. Now it's time for the 3-question game. We do this every week. 3-question game with Fred and Caleb. And I like these questions, man. For the first question, are the Utah Jazz currently they're 23-5 with the best record in the league? Are they ready to take that next step and potentially make the Western Conference Finals? This would mean that either the Lakers or the Clippers do not make it to the Western Conference Finals, and the Jazz would either be the first or the second best team in the league. Fred, we'll go right to you since this is kind of the burst segment of your show right here. Fred, what do you think?
No.
They're not.
Is LeBron James still in the Western Conference?
Yes.
Is Kawhi Leonard and Paul George still in the Western Conference?
Yes.
Is Damian Lillard still in the Western Conference?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
I'd take those 3 teams to make the Western Conference Finals before I'd take the Jazz.
Oh.
Donovan Mitchell can't lead them there. Rudy Gobert can't lead them there. No experience.
So much hate for Donovan Mitchell.
You know, Donovan Mitchell took Paul George out of the playoffs his rookie year.
That's fine. I'm
year.
still taking Kawhi and Paul George over them any day.
It was literally Donovan Mitchell versus Russell Westbrook and Paul George. And Donovan Mitchell stared him down and said, I'm getting a win.
Russell Westbrook's not Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
I mean,
And this Clipper team's way better than that Thunder team. It's not even close, night and day.
I'd agree.
It's gonna be Clippers Lakers, I think.
Okay, this is where I'm going to answer. Yes, they have because here's what you're not taking into consideration. The Lakers, Anthony Davis is hurt. LeBron potentially could start resting games here and there. We could see the Lakers and Clippers matchup in the second round.
Yeah, but you could also see a Jazz Lakers matchup in the second round.
I mean, if they make that big of a dump, sure. But I think I am confident in saying that the Jazz #1, Clippers, Lakers 2 and 3, they meet in the second round. And then the Jazz have an easier walk to the Western Conference Finals. Their defense is very, very solid. Mike Conley has been playing well for them. Rudy Gobert, always
an all-star.
I agree. Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, always a defensive player of the year candidate. Donovan Mitchell, like all these guys have bought in, and it's like, dude, they're playing really, really hot. Now the concern is that they're playing their best brand of basketball this early, and they drop off later on. You can pray and hope that doesn't happen. But I mean, that's not the question here. If I had to bet on it, I don't know if I'd bet on them. But do they have the tools? Yes, they do. I mean, they're proving it now with how well they're playing and how well their system's working. And it's like, yeah, I think I really do believe we're not going to be able to see the Clippers, Lakers in the Western Conference Finals like everybody in the world wants. It's going to be coming to the second round because of the Jazz.
I think the Lakers make that jump and they go to #1, and then Jazz go 2 or Clippers go 3. They'll interchange 2 and 3, I think, and then it'll be Clippers Jazz in the second round. This is what I think will end up happening.
We can agree to disagree there.
Yeah, I mean, yours could definitely happen too.
What I think is going to happen is that the Portland Trailblazers are going to overtake the Clippers in the standings eventually, and that the Trailblazers are going to be the 3 seed. The Lakers will be the 2. The Jazz will be the 1.
Oh, I would not want that to happen.
Hold on, repeat that real quick.
Okay, so Jazz, Lakers, Trailblazers, Clippers, and then the Suns at 5. The second round matchup
for the Jazz
would be the Jazz versus either the Suns or the Clippers. Can the Clippers get out of the first round? The Clippers would have an absolute war to get through. And obviously, the Western Conference is going to be a war because right now the Nuggets are the 7 seed. Like, that's not an easy matchup. That team just went to the Western Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, whoever gets the 6 seed at Spurs, I'd be smiling. And whoever's the 3 seed, I would be very excited to play the Spurs in the playoffs. Outside of having to go against Greg Popovich. I also think that the Jazz are ready. I think that whichever side of the bracket they are on, as long as they are opposite side of the Lakers, I think they have a very good shot to make it. Obviously, I'd have to look at matchups and positions and really see a playoff seeding, which I think we're getting close to doing our mid-season playoff prediction.
Wait, you think the Spurs is an easy out?
Yes. In the playoffs, yes. For a top 3 seed, yes.
I'll attack LaMarcus Aldridge all day.
If the Clippers or the Lakers play the Spurs in the playoffs, it's a sweep, and it's not close.
Okay.
I don't know sweep, but
we'll agree to disagree on that one.
I think
gentleman's sweep is still a
you
sweep.
Attack LaMarcus Aldridge all day long. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And they don't
I
have
love DeJounte Murray, but good lord, like
they don't have the 3. Like DeRozan's not a 3-point shooter. Murray's not a 3-point shooter.
You could shrink the floor. It'd be wraps. But yeah, I also think the Jazz, they're ready. Jordan Clarkson's playing his best brand of basketball. Now, and like you said, like the biggest concern with the team is they are literally playing their best basketball. And there's nothing you can do to disagree with that. Like they are literally just playing incredible basketball right now. And do they bottom out is a question. But right now they're up double digits on the Clippers. And obviously I don't think they have a lot of their guys, but dude, I was looking at their roster, man. They've beaten the Bucks by double digits twice. They've beaten the Celtics by double digits. They beat the Hornets by double digits. They've beaten the 76ers by double digits. They beat the Heat by almost 30. Like, dude, they are just rolling through teams. Like, it's not even like,
they're scoring pretty spread out too. Like,
yeah, dude, they don't 15, rely on one person.
Bogdanovich 15, Clarkson 18, Conley 16, Gobert 14, Mitchell 24, and Ingles.
Dude, I'm telling you, they are one of those teams, man, that can just get you. And so, like Jordan Clarkson can go for 41 night. Donovan Mitchell can go for 41 night. Gobert can have a 20-20 game. Bogdanovich can have a big game. Joe Ingles can have a huge game. Like, and they're deep too. Like Georges Niang can have a game where he, shoots the ball very well. They're extremely deep, and they're a team that in the buyout market might attract somebody and might fortify that bench a little bit. And dude, they can make a run. I really like that team. The Jazz, while they do give me signs like the Hawks did back in the day, where they're just going to be a great regular season team and then fall apart in the playoffs, I would hope that the Jazz could get through. But
the Jazz are a team I don't want to bet my money on.
But I wouldn't want to play them either because they're a great defensive and offensive team. They would be a very tough battle for whoever gets them in the first, second, or third round.
And they have Derek Favors. Like, honestly, them having Derek Favors has escaped my mind. Like, dude, that's another guy that you could trust in a playoff matchup.
Yeah, and who knows, man? They might go out and get like a guy just off the top of my head that like for floor spacing and such, like a JJ Redick. Just go get him to spread the floor for your playoff run. Who knows? Who knows who will be in the market? We've always said Trevor Ariza, so I wanted to get a different name.
Yeah, I know Trevor Ariza is always coming up.
Yeah. So first question, really good. Fred does not think they're ready just because of the playoff matchups, and he doesn't trust Donovan Mitchell. Me and Caleb are on the opposite side of things. I love Donovan Mitchell. I think he's the real deal. I think he's a very, very solid player, and I love to watch him play. Now, this second question, I think, hits a little bit closer to home for Fred and for all of us Kentucky fans. We're seeing one of our own. We kind of alluded to it earlier, Julius Randle. He was picked one spot behind Marcus Smart in his respected draft class. Julius Randle taking quite the leap for the New York Knicks. He's, I would say leading that team into a playoff spot, into playoff seeding. And where we never thought the New York Knicks would be, they have somehow found their way to fighting. And I know, Fred, you're a Knick fan and you're a Kentucky fan, so this is one of your boys. How do you is Julius Randle? Is it finally time for him to be an all-star?
Yes. Next question. Nah, he's phenomenal, bro. He's shooting 40% from three. Dude's averaging 23 a game, 11 boards. Just what he does, dude. That's why I wish WAR was a stat in the NBA, dude. I bet his wins above replacement would be crazy.
Break that stat down a little bit. What does that necessarily mean?
So it's what a player does each game, and it tallies up what a win would like. It's so hard to explain, but like in baseball, like Mike Trout is what he does each at bat, what he does defensively, it all adds together, and how many wins.
Gotcha. So it brings together like pretty much all aspects of his game and gives him out like a
it doesn't just put in scoring, like it does everything that he does, and how he helps his team win. So, I mean, he's so good. Like watching him play, like he can stretch the floor, he can run the floor with the ball. He's a decent ball handler. Like he can rebound. He's averaging 11 boards a game, bro. That's like. It's not taken lightly there. He's just a bully, man. And yeah, if he's not an all-star this year, it's crazy. And they have a decent record. It's not like they're 2-20 right now,
Yeah.
They're winning games. So yeah, Julius Randle should 100% be an all-star, especially in the East. I mean, who else are you going to put there?
Caleb, what do you think?
I agree he should be. I have concerns that he will be. I think the way that we've seen in the past, the NBA, like coaches, they give the vote to guys that have already been there. So it's like you look at a guy like Vucevic, who he might be competing with, or maybe even Sabonis. I mean, I don't know. But it's like I just see the way that the NBA has been before. That's why guys like Bradley Beal and Devin Booker and like stuff like that before. And so it's like, God, I really hope so. He's averaging 23, 11, and basically 6 on 47, 40, and 80 splits. I think the NBA is like the NBA wants as a business, they want their big time market in New York to succeed. And I mean, is it necessarily succeeding? Probably not. Like there's still 2 games under 500, but it's like, I mean, this is the best they've been in years. And it's like they're bringing a lot of excitement. And why is that? It's because of Julius Randle. And so I really hope he gets the nod. And I feel like I'm probably leaning towards yes more than no. But I could also see where it's like they give it to some guy that's already been there before, in like a Vucevic.
Yeah, so I've pulled up the voting, and the voting is for 10 guys to be in the draft pool for the 2 captains to select. Okay.
Are they doing captains this year? I thought I heard they weren't.
Well, then if they're not, then it just votes the starters. Okay. Guys listed above him in the Eastern Conference: Kevin Durant, Giannis, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, Bam, Sabonis, and then Randall.
Jimmy Butler?
And then Gordon Hayward is on his tail
This is just fan voting, though, right?
This is just fan voting.
Okay, Jimmy and Gordon should
But
both be over Bam and or Julius and Gordon Hayward should both be over Bam and Jimmy Butler.
This is just fan voting again, but then it goes into coaches and upper management and all that. It goes through the coaches, the players, and all of that. So with him, he's going to have to be a reserve. And when you start looking at reserves when it comes to bigs, there's going to be a lot of people who want a guy like Caleb said, Vucevic, or a guy like Bam, who just played in the finals, to be there. A guy like Jimmy, just played in the finals, to be there. Forwards like Gordon Hayward having a great season on a team that, not everybody was like, whoa, he went through it all with the injuries. So did Julius Randle, but not a lot of people remember that. But Gordon Hayward going through everything he's been through. I think they're kind of going to lean towards him. Yeah. And then you start having to decide, because Sabonis isn't going to be a starter. Then you start having to decide, well, do I want Sabonis there or do I want Julius Randle? I want Sabonis because Sabonis got more votes.
Yeah, he'll get that nod, like I said. That's what it comes. That's ultimately what it's going to come down to, and it's what it comes down to every year.
That's what makes these not necessarily smart market because he's in New York. That's what makes these bad player or good players on bad teams want to go elsewhere because they don't get near the respect they should. Right. And while we can all agree Julius Randle probably should be an all-star, I don't think he'll be there. I think he'll be very upset that he's not there because I'm sure, he's playing his tail off. He deserves it. It's 23-11. That's tough to do. 40% from three is tough to do. This guy's, shooting better from three than Steph. I think I saw Damian Lillard, averaging more rebounds or something. I don't know. It's crazy whenever you start breaking down every statistical category. But Julius Randle should be there, but I don't think he will. And I think that, that's sad, and that's what kind of drives some of these good players on bad teams out. And if the NBA wants to fix that, maybe they need to expand the All-Star teams or something.
They get 15.
Yeah, because what do they get now? 12?
12, but it's
hey, what do you think about them doing what in baseball? Every team gets an All-Star.
No.
The Timberwolves don't have one.
Okay, I agree.
I love Jeremy.
I can't wait to do it because
baseball does that. It seems like they do that, but they have pitchers and hitter. They have a lot.
They have a lot of crap. They got a lot.
We already did an All-Star video before, and I can't wait to do another one. Dude, there's so many names that should be considered for an All-Star game this year. Probably over 35, honestly.
Where are you taking Gordon Hayward over Julius Randle to an All-Star?
Would I?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Caleb?
Now, do I think they will? Yes.
Yep.
I wouldn't even be mad about that one.
Well, here's what it comes down to. I think how many locks are there above Julius Randle? You've got Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Giannis,
Harden,
Joel
Brown,
Embiid, Tatum, Brown.
You can argue Simmons.
I think and then I think Sabonis is. So
that's Sabonis.
That's 9 right there. So then you have
off the top of our head, not even.
You have to fill in 3 spots after that, and it's dude, there's so many names.
Butler, Bam, instantly go right in there.
Bam's probably a lock. So it's that's 10.
Butler's a lock.
No, why?
They went to the finals. They went to the finals, and they are big name. Jimmy Butler is an all-star. I don't care. Jimmy Butler's very good at basketball. He's an all-star.
Is, but this year, no.
He is averaging 27 and 7 basically. So, yeah, he probably gets the nod.
Who's averaging 27 and 7?
He's averaging 27 and 7, not 27, 7 and 7.
Wait, Jimmy Butler's averaging 27.7.
20.7
and 7.
20 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists.
Oh,
yeah. He'll get the nod. He's been there plenty of times. So it's then it comes down to Vucevic, Randall.
Give it to
Zach. Other guys that aren't gonna
Zach LaVine. Bradley. Nobody's even said Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal. Oh my God, yeah, that's 11 locks.
So somebody had him in the starters? Troy.
He's a starter.
We all did, didn't we?
Not me. Couldn't be me. I'm not putting him in there.
He's a starter.
I had Jaylen Brown and nobody even said Trae Young. That's the craziest part.
I don't think he's a lock. Whoa. I don't think he's a lock for
A starter?
Coaches. Yeah. I don't think he's a lock
He's
for
a
the
lock.
coaches.
Wait, never mind. Julius Randle's not gonna be an all-star.
He'll
He
make
should be, but he's not gonna be one. Okay, now that I think about it.
Exactly. Dude, I can't wait for our next All-Star video because I want to go through and literally name every player that should be considered an All-Star and see how many we come up with because I really think we could come close to 35.
All right, so let's transition. There's a little all-star talk for you, kind of get you ready for a video down the line that we will do. But here's question number 3, and this was kind of brought to my attention on the TikTok. A guy had commented under one of our videos. So, guys, you can comment us questions, and we'll do our best to feature them in some of these conversations, especially if I really like the question. And we recently did the trade deadline video. And I posted one of the trades to TikTok, and it says, and I pretty much went all in for the Kings on Andre Drummond, Terrence Ross, that big trade I made for team where, they go all in, they get rid of Bagley, they get rid of Whiteside, they get rid of Parker, they get rid of some picks. And in your guys' opinion, should the Kings trade Harrison Barnes and Buddy Hield for younger pieces and continue to build towards the future with Fox, Halliburton, and Bagley? Or should they go all in to try to make a playoff berth this year and figure the rest out later? And that's kind of where I was stood. So now I'm going to direct this question to you guys. Fred, we'll go to you. What do you think? Because I know you were high on the Kings coming into this year. It's one of the hot takes that Caleb was not a huge fan of. So what are your thoughts on the Kings?
I think they should go. I think they should trade Barnes and Buddy. I think they should try to get younger and try to get and really build around Fox, Halliburton, and Bagley. I think that would be the smartest move because I don't think they make the playoffs this year. It's just not going to happen.
They're 2.5 games out of the 8th seed.
I think they needed to kind of look at like what the Suns did.
Look at the 3 teams ahead of them. Okay, technically 4, but okay. Grizzlies. Do you take the Grizzlies or the Kings?
Kings.
Mavericks.
Pelicans.
That's tough.
Pelicans. I think the Pelicans have too much star power.
Okay. You can. Sorry. Finish.
Oh, y'all just nailing your mics today. Yeah, man. I just think it's just smarter in the long run. I mean, look how the Suns kind of built, and then maybe they find a Chris Paul. I'm not saying Chris Paul, a guy like that in the offseason to really get them over that hump. Suns drafted well. They got them a veteran leader. They got the superstar in Devin Booker. Sacramento has a superstar in De'Aaron Fox. They pair him with a nice little veteran star. I mean, get some really good draft capital out of Barnes and Buddy. Build, man. Maybe sneak into an 8 seed this year after even trading Barnes and Buddy. You never know. I think it's just smarter to just I mean, I don't know, man. That's tough. It's tough.
It's a tough question. It is.
Yeah. But I think, trade Barnes and Buddy and go young and just try to build for the years to come. Because I don't think this year, I don't think it's it.
So you're taking back your hot take from the beginning of the season.
No, I think they can still make the playoffs with the young team.
Okay. I disagree. I don't think they do it. I don't think they should. I listened to an interview with De'Aaron Fox a couple of days ago, and they're bought in, man. They want. I feel like I should be taking a drink of water. They are bought in. They want to go. They want this playoff push, and it's this is De'Aaron Fox's best statistical season yet. When it comes to points, he's close to assists. But anyways, De'Aaron Fox is on a hot streak, and it's I feel like if you see his performance up to this point, and you go and trade 2 of your key pieces, you're okay, well, we're wasting another season of yours.
Well, here's my question to you, Caleb.
What's up?
What kind of draft capital are they getting back from Barnes and Buddy?
Maybe 1 first-round pick.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? What? Wait, never mind. Sorry, that was a stupid question. That would be if
you're proving my point.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking.
No, but I mean, I just
No, actually, I'll keep with that point. Is Barnes and Buddy are they worth keeping? Are they going to get you to the playoffs and win you games?
I think go for it this year. Go for it
For
this
the
year.
Kings, Buddy Hield is their second leading scorer. Harrison Barnes is their third. So that'd be trading away all of De'Aaron Fox's help so far this season.
Yeah, you're basically just wasting
Then you're
his
keeping De'Aaron. And what type of message does that send to a young man who is absolutely fighting his tail off every game, every night to try to battle and put himself in a position to make the playoffs? Because at the end of the day, while it may be about building a team for the Kings, this is about his legacy and what he is going to be remembered as in terms of the NBA. And this guy, while he is young, he's got his bag. He got his extension. So now he's working his tail off to now make the playoffs. That's step one, making the playoffs. You go all in and you show him no matter what happens every year, we are going to do whatever we can. Even if we're right on the cusp of the playoffs, we're going to be so aggressive.
So are you saying trade or keep them?
Keep. I think you keep those two, and then you move. Corey Joseph has a very flexible contract. Marvin Bagley, you need to get rid of Bagley, Joseph, and a pick. Bielitsa has another flexible contract.
On Whiteside?
Hassan Whiteside, or you could keep Whiteside. Whiteside had a really good game against the Nets. I was really impressed by Whiteside.
But I could see him wanting out to go to a contender.
Yeah. Jabari Parker. There are guys that you can actually funnel into a trade and have a lot of cap that you're giving up to take on some cap and take on and like give some picks, and you get some better players, but you give a team some younger assets.
I don't know if they do get rid of Bagley though, because it's like if you're buying in, I'm not just no. I know
all the stuff earlier in the year is why I am.
No, I get it. I'm not disagreeing with you, but it's like I'm thinking from a front office perspective. Like you drafted him for a reason. You saw something in him you would hope comes out. So it's like if you're going for this push, you want to take your chances on that high pick. Like when you're rolling and when you're hot and when you're going for that. Now when things turn bad, that's when you get a guy. That's when you get rid of a guy like that. You know what I'm saying?
Let me just show you this real quick. Richaun Holmes averages 12.8 points.
Yeah.
Okay. Marvin Bagley, 12.8 points. Richaun Holmes averages 7.7 rebounds. Marvin Bagley, 7.4. Assists, Richaun Holmes. Offensive rebounds, 2.5. Marvin Bagley, 2. They are almost identical in the stat sheet. Outside of Bagley can probably shoot a little bit better from the outside. I'll give him that. He can probably spread the floor better. But you're still having this 26-year-old Richaun Holmes that you found fell right into your lap and blessed you, and now he's looking really good. And Bagley has some trade value in the open market. I mean, he's a young kid. I'm pretty sure, how old is he? He is now 21 years old, and he can be a very solid 4. And I think you go all in, you get rid of him, and you just show De'Aaron, man, because that's what it's about. That's what it's about. The Pelicans tried doing it, and guess what? They made the playoffs a few years. And you know what? Anthony Davis spent 8-9 years of his career there. So, I mean, you just have to be aggressive to show these guys like, man, no matter what happens, we're going to try to do what we can for you. Like, you're not going to get in a situation where you feel like we're constantly rebuilding, because that's not.
Yeah, ultimately, if they get rid of those two guys that we've named, you're going to be rebuilding because you're not getting a good piece back, I don't think. And it's like, you're starting to gain traction now. Why rebuild? Like, the only way you improve is if you trade like a Bagley, because then you could probably get a better piece. But to get rid of those two guys, no way. Like, you have to buy in now.
Well, Bagley will have more trade value than Buddy and Barnes.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, he has more trade value combined than those two.
Yeah, and so
that was a pretty fun one. Quick shout out again to the people on TikTok that comment under our videos. We do always read those comments, and it was fun to pull one. I think I might do this maybe every episode if we get a question. Just pull one.
Come swing by on the live this weekend. We'll probably get a couple questions.
We got a lot of stuff going on, man. We love it. We're staying active, staying busy. But now it's time for the rapid fire game, and I'm kind of going to let Fred. Do you have these next to you? Because I'm pretty sure, are you the one asking them this week? Or
yeah.
I think Fred is the one asking.
Oh, I'm not answering, man.
I mean, you could give your thoughts at the end. Yeah, like after Caleb gives his point, you can kind of talk about it, then give your point, and then hand it over to me. We each get a minute to answer these, or a minute and a half. I don't know what we're doing. A minute and a half to answer these questions. But it's rapid fire. So we have to make our case quick, and Fred will ultimately choose the argument that he likes best, and we have 3 rapid fire questions, and I'll let Fred take over. It is in the group message, Fred, if you don't have the questions in
I
front
got
of
it.
you. Okay.
Oh, I'm
And
prepared.
so-
Come on now.
And so, Fred,
You guys both have a minute. First question. We'll start with Caleb. Caleb, in your opinion, who's going to win the NBA MVP this year?
Go.
Go.
Joel Embiid. I think we can make this argument all day long. Everybody has said for years it's going to be LeBron. Like if it really came down to who is the best player, it would be LeBron James. And I agree with you. And I don't think it's wrong this year. But here's the thing that I think people are overlooking. The big man position in the NBA has been dead for years, and everybody wants to complain about it. Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic are bringing the center back, and it's been fun to watch. And on top of that, he's averaging 29.6 points, 10.8 rebounds, 3 assists on 50, 40, 85% from the field. And so it's like those stats as a big man are hard. And his team is the best in the East. I think their standings will stay the same. Like they will be a top team in the East. Whereas like with Jokic, the Nuggets will fall off a little bit, or we don't know with them for sure because they're struggling right now. But I think ultimately for the story of it, it's like it could be LeBron every year for the last 18 years. But it's like the center's back, and guess who's leading it? Joel Embiid. There we go.
Troy, you now have a minute on the clock. You may begin.
Easily. I've stated it before. LeBron James. There's no second. There's no third. It should all be LeBron James. LeBron James is averaging 25.7 points, 8.5 rebounds, 7.9 assists, 50% from the field, 38% from 3, and a steal a game. It's his highest 3-point percentage since 2013. And he's led the Lakers after a quick turnaround. Everybody was like, oh my God, this man he's going to rest. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And I was one of those people as well. So I'm even making fun of myself. He's played every game, showed up, showed out, been the leader. And you've said the big man position has been dead for years. How about the league would have been dead for years if it's not for LeBron? LeBron has single-handedly carried the league through pretty much everything. He carried the Lakers through the loss of Kobe. He's carried, the Lakers franchise from out of turmoil into stardom again. LeBron James, MVP every year. He's not only the most valuable player for the Lakers, he's the most valuable player for the league every year, every single season. This year, he deserves his roses. Give it to him now.
I got to go with Caleb on this one. I think Joel Embiid's the NBA MVP, and it's going to be
That's
a beautiful fight
crazy.
at the end of the
No, Troy, I agree with you 100%. But
There's nobody.
It's always been the argument every year.
Is it?
Yes, that it should be LeBron.
This year in particular, I don't see the case for anybody else. And honestly, the big man I would probably take over him. I mean, never mind. The MVP is about record pretty much. I would take Jokic over Embiid, but
Joel Embiid's been really good this year, man.
no, I agree. But I don't even think he's the best big in the league. But so how can you give the MVP to a guy that's not the best at his position?
He already gave me the point. Let's move on.
Just saying.
He's been the best at the position this year.
I would argue.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm
while
taking
we're on this
Joel Embiid.
topic, let me just mosey on over.
Mosey on over to what?
27 points for Jokic, 11 rebounds, 8.5 assists.
Yeah, but that comes back to why I said his record will help him more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The record, it's all about record. That's why I said I would take Jokic, but
I mean, do you think there's still not a chance of LeBron sitting games here soon?
No.
Okay.
I think he's trying to make a point.
Okay.
Because after every game, they're like, LeBron, are you tired? He said, tired is a mindset.
Okay.
I'm not tired. I never get tired.
That fool's gonna be
I
really
think
tired.
I
mean, come on.
literally think he's trying to prove a point. Like that's how petty he is. And that's what makes the greats the greats. It's like Michael Jordan, and I took that personally. He pisses himself off before games just so he can go out there and put 40 on your head.
Hey, Michael Jordan's your goat. So, second question. We'll start with Troy on this one.
Big
Minute on the
on
clock.
that one.
Who's the one player in the entire league you can trust in clutch time? You got a minute. Hold on. You may start now.
I think the easy question is Kevin Durant, or the easy answer, but I'm actually going to go LeBron. Again, best player in the league every year, every time. In the fourth quarter this year, he averages 6.7 points, which ranks 12th, which seems low, but everybody is within 6-7 points. 2 rebounds, 2 assists in the fourth. and he has the best record of those above him at 20-7 in the clutch. LeBron has took you on a streak whenever he was in the Cleveland Cavaliers days, where he just performs in the biggest moments every year, every time. He's played in those moments. And, I mean, I want LeBron on my side in the clutch, not in the clutch. I just think he's the best playmaker you can have on the floor. I think he's the best player you can have on the floor. He's the best shot maker you can have on the floor. When it comes down to it, give me LeBron all day, every day. Not even close.
Is that it?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. LeBron James. Okay. Caleb, same question to you. You got a minute on the clock. Let's get it.
I'm going to go with – what time is it? It's Dame time. I'm going to go with Damian Lillard. I think he's proven time and time again, like, he wants the shot, dude. Like, I mean, he's hit – I mean, we've seen it all the way back in, what was that, 2016 against the Rockets in the playoffs. Like, he steps up. He's not afraid. You know, he like – and with LeBron and with KD, like, they have guys on their team that they could also get the – like, you could see, like, Anthony Davis taking it. You could see James Harden and Kyrie. Damian Lillard is going to be that guy no matter – like, because of who's on his team. And it's
DJ
like
McCollum.
Damian Lillard's going to be that guy no matter who's on his team. He's stepped up and done it time and time again. And, I mean, with how many series-ending game winners, how many clutch game winners he's had, that man is about it. And, I mean, he's in one of the tops in clutch points in the league year after year. And I think that's it's a given why, because that man's about that life. He been about that life, Troy. I'm done.
Caleb must be reading the answers off my phone. But I'm going to go with Troy on this one with LeBron James. You can't not take LeBron James, man. I mean, LeBron James has been doing this way too long.
Way too long. And what is your point, Fred? If LeBron's on your team, you're more than likely playing for a championship outside of the first year in LA. But outside of that, he's been there like 12 out of the last 13 years. Like, it's absolutely stupid. Yeah. You know, LeBron is he's been in big moments, been in big games. I appreciate the point. I think I should be 2-0, but hey.
No.
You can't win them all.
Okay. Third and final question. Caleb, you'll have the floor first. Minute on the clock. What is one trade the Miami Heat need to make to get back on track? You may start now.
If you look at the Miami Heat, they're two of their main focuses on offense are Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. Duncan Robinson, is only averaging like 12 points a game right now, and Tyler Hero averaging like 17. But I really do think Tyler Hero is a little bit overrated. And I think when it comes to the playoffs, they're going to need a guy that they can throw out there to score the ball, but also defend. And this guy I've been preaching for weeks, Terrence freaking Ross, baby, tonight comes off the bench for the Magic, 30 points in a victory. That's instant offense. That's a guy you can trust late in the games. And here's the trade. Myers Leonard and Chris Silva for Terrence Ross. I think that way those two guys those two big men for the Heat have not been playing. You can get rid of them. And then when the Magic make a move for Vucevic, because we all know it's going to happen, they have two centers that they can throw out there, two big men they can throw out there to take his spot and rebuild. Terrence Ross, I think, would provide clutch time for the Heat. A guy you can trust out there, a guy that's going to get you buckets, that can score at any level of the floor, unlike Duncan Robinson.
So who is the trade?
Chris Silva, Myers Leonard, and I didn't say picks, but whatever, how many picks, and for Terrence Ross.
Can they trade Myers Leonard with him hurt?
Wait till he gets healthy.
They have the contracts to move. Okay. If it's not Myers Leonard, they got
Terrence Ross. Okay, so you think Terrence Ross?
100%. That's my guy.
Same question to you. Who do the Miami Heat need to trade for? You got a minute on the clock. You may begin.
And again, like Caleb said, they need a guy that can score and can defend without the ball in his hands, be an off-ball presence, be a cutter, be a rebounder, just be a brute. The Miami Heat need to go out and get Kelly Oubre Jr. And how this trade happens, the Heat trade Kelly Olynyk. They trade Kelly and Kelly. They get in like a couple seconds, I think we'll get the job done. If not, you throw in a first. Kelly Oubre, and you can laugh all you want. In February, he has posted 18.8 points per game, 6.4 rebounds, 44.7% from three. Over the last month, I went a step further. He has scored 16 points a game, 6 rebounds, and almost 40% from the 3-point line. And in tonight's game, he's their Warriors leading scorer. He has 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 of 7 from 3. Kelly Oubre has really kind of found his role in the Warriors, and it would be really sad to see him get moved because he's finally starting to click and roll. But the Miami Heat, you say you want a Dre Crowder-esque type player. How about get yourself a defending shooter like Oubre who can rebound, defend, and yam on people? Give me my dub, 2-0. Hey.
Terrence Ross is better than Kelly Oubre.
I'm taking Terrence Ross in this one as well. I'm sad neither of you all said the guy I want, and that's Victor Oladipo. And I'm going to share my trade after I'm done crowning the victor, which is Caleb Wilson.
Thank you.
I think Terrence Ross would bring more to the Heat than Kelly Oubre would.
I agree.
Oubre's better defender, better
Here's my
rebounder,
thing. I don't think
better cutter.
like, Kelly, like they play Kelly Olynyk, and he plays well for them at points. Where it's like Myers Leonard never plays for them, so it's like get rid of him and Chris Silva, two
Myers
guys.
Leonard was starting for them before he got hurt.
He's literally on. I will look it up right now because I already looked it up.
Hey, you want me to share my trade real quick?
Game started 2,
How many games played?
3. He's not started every game he played.
Oh, my bad.
And
One
Terrence
game.
Ross has been really good this year, and they do need another scorer in a bad way. Hey, you want to hear my trade?
Yes.
It's a 3-team trade. And
I
it's
love
a
that. I
fun
love
one.
3-team
It's
trades.
a fun one. It's between the Heat, the Rockets, and the Warriors. The Miami Heat acquire Victor Oladipo, Ben McLemore, David Nwamba, and Michael Mulder. The Houston Rockets receive Kendrick Nunn, Andre Iguodala, Kelly Olynyk, a first-round pick from the Warriors, and a second-round pick from the Warriors. And the Golden State Warriors acquired Duncan Robinson.
Man,
For what?
that's a lot to digest.
But yeah, I'd take Terrence Ross over Kelly Oubre, and I'd take Joel.
You know,
Embiid.
Oubre's averaging like the same amount of points as Terrence Ross, right?
Kelly Oubre shooting 29% from the 3 on this season.
Okay, he also started 0 of 21. You have to look at recency.
Exactly.
Over the last month, 40%.
You want a guy that can go 0 for 21?
I want consistency.
Terrence Ross's nickname, according to Basketball Reference, is Human Torch. That says it enough right there. I'm taking that man.
He is like instant. Like
Oh, he's an
dude.
instant spark. When he goes
and that's
cold
what-
though, he's like
And
J.R.
that's what I was
Smith.
gonna. I
That's
feel
what
like,
reminds
dude,
me
when
of.
you only have a minute, everything you want to say like escapes you. He does not start for the Magic, so it's like, what benefit do they have to keep him?
Did you say Olynyk had 29% from 3?
Oubre,
Or Oubre 29.
Yeah.
Terrence Ross is 32.
still better.
Okay.
Who shot more?
Probably Oubre. You'd probably be surprised. Oubre shoots a lot of threes, man.
I mean, I love Terrence Ross. Don't get me wrong. I just think that
I think it's more too. Like I just see realistically the Ross going out.
I mean, if we're going off, Terrence Ross averages 5.73 attempts per game, and Kelly Oubre averages
5.3, right?
5.3. So I mean,
0.4 of a difference.
and then on 2 point per game, it's Kelly Oubre 5.3, Terrence Ross 5.4.
Oh, trust me.
Wait,
They're
no,
they're
no,
very
hold on, I read
similar
that
players.
7.5, 7.3.
I think Oubre just brings too much of a distraction to Miami.
He's so pretty.
He's so pretty. He's a pretty.
He's a
man.
Miami boy. You kidding me?
Nah, Terrence Ross is a Miami boy. Give him a spark. They need it.
I agree, but
Can't wait
Ross,
to defend my
Kelly-
title.
Oubre. Yeah.
it'll
So
be
Caleb,
Fred
congratulations.
versus Caleb
Thank you.
next week. I think Fred just didn't want to play me again. But that was a really, really fun one. I hope you guys enjoyed. You guys got anything to say before we get out of here?
Oh, my answers were Joel Embiid, Damian Lillard, and that trade I just did, by the way.
LeBron James is the MVP. Fred, get us out of here.
Can I say one thing really quick? Hot take. I want to end. We got to end on a hot take.
Jaylen Brown wins MVP. Go ahead.
Wizards get on a hot streak here soon.
They've won 3 in a row. It's easy to say that right now.
It's not a hot
No,
take.
but like they
It's
make it.
cold.
Hold on, let me look at the stats. No,
It
I'm
is
not even. I
nuts.
didn't even. I honestly didn't even. Not the stats, the standings.
That's
they-
3-day-old pizza cold. You kidding me?
Davis Bertans went for 35 tonight. They needed his offense to heat up.
Hit 9 threes.
I think they make a run.
Worst contract in basketball, baby. Come on.
I agree with you.
All right, boys. Hey, good episode. Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in to Frame Mind. Or
What? Hey, is
That's a
that a
late
sneak
one.
peek? Is frame of
That's a
mind
late
coming back?
one.
Cut
Hey, is
that,
frame of
cut
mind
that.
coming back? We ain't cutting. This is all live, baby.
Cut that.
Yeah, baby. It's a late one here.
All right. Thank you all so much for tuning into the X Factor Sports Talks. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok, subscribe down low, like the video up. We are X Factors. We're changing the game. Don't be a star. Don't be a superstar. Be an X Factor. We'll see you guys next time. God bless and peace out.
Peace.